Hello everybody. We can have something a little bit different today. We've had some centipedes come in to the collection. Now these are all wild caught centipedes, so they've done no real quarantine of such. So they've literally come in from abroad, come through, they're sold straight on. So they basically hit the market running. Now that's all well and good generally, but one of the ones that we've had come in is absolutely crawling with mites, which is a really not a good thing to have in your collection. We really don't want this, and if left unattended, it will in time kill the individual that it's on. Now this centipede has got quite a heavy mite infestation. I've not actually had it before with centipedes, so this is going to be a bit of a trial and error type thing. So what we've done is we've housed them. They're in their temporary housing at the moment, just while we work out, make sure that they're actually good to go. This one was found early on, so we've seen this one real quick. So we put it in its temporary accommodation, which is then put inside another box, this quarantine box, and then it's kept away from the rest of the collection. So we try and minimise any cross infection. We don't want the mites travelling off elsewhere. Now as long as they've got their host to feed on, they don't tend to travel too far. So all being well, this is how it's going to work. So what we're going to do, this is something that happens with wild caught stuff, and any of you that have got reptiles and bits and pieces will know also that a lot of wild caught reptiles that come through are often infested with mites and parasites and everything else, and this does happen from time to time with our spiders and centipedes. Not as bad with the arachnids as it is with the reptiles. And what it can do, it can literally take the life out of them. And what we're doing here, I'm just having a little look to see if there's anything in the box that's coming out before I put this down. You see, no, there's nothing. That looks fine. Right. What I'm going to do, put my tray down on the desk. And what we've got, this is something I've not tried before, but these are what are known as predatory mites in this tub. So we bought these in. You can pick them up on the net, and basically, according to instructions, all we do is we pour these over the substrate. These predatory mites feed off of the mites that are on the centipede. So in time, we'll eventually kill them all off, and then hopefully we should end up having a clean centipede. So what we're going to do, we're going to open this up now. And we'll see how this particular centipede reacts. If you'd like to come over, you can see her there. If you can get in nice and close, and you can see all of the mites on this centipede. Now, as luck would have it, this one is still reasonably active. She's reacting to the change in the air at the moment because we've taken the lid off, and while we're talking she can obviously feel the difference in the air from our breathing and what have you. You should be able to get nice and close, and you can see them little tiny dots all over her. These are the actual mites. There we go. You can see she is absolutely covered in them. So what we're going to do, the good thing is by using a natural predatory mite. Oh, here she comes. She's going to go and have a little wander outside the box now, look. We don't want that. That's it, girl. You stay in here. You don't want her disappearing. Come back over here, my sweet. That's it. Climb on the paintbrush if you so wish. See how she uses her legs? Look at that. Right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to get our predatory mites. Now, according to instruction, all we do is we literally just tip these over on the top. I don't think it matters if they go on her. Now the actual predatory mite is inside this stuff. I reckon it's about half a tub. So I think a little bit more. Notice how calm she's been. Now this is possibly due to the fact that she is a little bit under the weather. And I'll make sure she's got some fresh water. Because you often find sickly animals will require more water than a generally healthy one. Now this one here is a I'll get my name now. It's a Javan tiger, SP spinners. These are basically, I think these are related to the Dahanis, a different type. You can see on there. You come right round here and get a really good low down close up look. You should be able to see them mites. You can see them crawling all over. Get any closer? There we go. And you can see them moving around on her. You see them on all the joints. Absolutely everywhere. There we go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to leave her to it and get a real close up of her head. That's the one. Now you can see the mites on top of her head there. You can see them on like her neck area as well. And these are literally all over her. But apart from that, she's in actually good condition and she has eaten. So we will see now what happens. So what we're going to do, she's got fresh water. I'm going to put the lid back on, close her up. I'm going to put her back in her quarantine box. And I think what we'll do now is we're gonna we'll give her a week, and we'll come back and we'll video again and see what she's looking like in a week's time. I think 7 days is a fair time to see if we can get any real good response from the predatory mite and see if it actually does the job. I hear a lot of people swear by them, so fingers crossed. We're on the right scale, on the right track. So yeah, so basically if you're gonna, when you're buying in any new stuff, even from reputable dealers and everything else, wild caught stuff comes with its problems, and this is just one of them. So it's well worth bearing in mind that when you do get new stuff in, make sure you check it properly, keep a really good eye on it. Centipedes are often difficult because when you get them, you'll put them in their enclosure. The first thing they do is they dig down, they disappear, and you never see them again, and they come out at night to feed. So you might well not notice tiny little flecks on them, bits and pieces, because you might think it's substrate or whatever. So whenever you get anything new, spend a little bit of time, even if you've got to dig it out, have a really good look at it, make sure you see what you see. And that's exactly how this one was found. So we've literally put them in, we give them 24 hours to settle down, then we just had a little look at them, because quite often when they come out of their boxes, it's not always the best time to see them. So, you know, if you get a chance doing it like that, do it. If not, give them 24 hours, check them out. It's very important that you do this. Otherwise, this centipede would have gone unnoticed, and there's a good chance we could have had mites throughout the collection in a very short space of time. So keep an eye on them. Like I say, we'll give her a week, and we'll come back and we'll see what she's doing. We'll see you shortly. Take care. Right, here we are a week later, and we can see now there's a massive improvement on the mites on this centipede. And as you can see, there are still a number of little mites on there. You can still see them, especially up the front end. You can see them, there they are. So there's still a few on there. Nice one on the back of the head there. You can see that very, very clearly. But they're almost all gone. Bearing in mind that this centipede a week ago was absolutely infested in them. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put some more in. And the reason I held on to keeping some is because obviously the mites will have an egg stage, and I didn't want to lose them. She's obviously feeling fit enough to go for a walkabout, which we don't want, so you're gonna have to come back down here, please, lady, because she's obviously feeling much better. Stay inside, please. There we go. We'll just give her a second to settle down, and we can top her water up. There she goes. She's gone underground now. So what we'll do is we'll just top her water up. Remember, as we said before, these guys generally, when they're not feeling very well, they can end up being very thirsty. So always make sure she's got plenty of water. Right, and that is it. So what we will do now is we will come back and we will give it another 7 days, and we'll come back and we'll check her out again. But so far the predatory mites seem to be doing the job. So all being well, we're on to success. I'll see you again soon. Right, here we are now. We're roughly a month after starting the treatment for this mite infestation, and as you can see, she's actually put on a reasonable amount of weight now, but she does still have a couple of mites on her, and we'll see those in a moment. We'll try and get some close-up views of her. But one of the most important things here is you can see her appetite is good. Now, unfortunately, with a lot of animals, when they start going downhill, one of the first things they lose is their appetite. So we end up with a double trouble, if you like, trying to get food in them and get them better at the same time. Now, as you can see there are still just a few. I mean, we're talking maybe a dozen mites if we're lucky, which is a huge improvement on what we were a month ago. If you remember, a month ago she was absolutely plastered in them. Look down her body, there's hardly any. They've concentrated on the upper half of her body now. Notice she's carrying some lovely weight there. Colour wise she's looking good. She's really starting to fill out now. It's definite improvements. There you can see there she's tucking into that. That's a normal house cricket there, and she's tucking away into there like a good one. And you can see the mites on her first couple of legs there. You can just about make them out, and there's a couple on her body as well, but not very many. Now I'm thinking now that maybe these ones would have been from eggs that were hatched in the substrate from the very beginning. So this is why we held off and we kept some of the mite powder, some of the predatory mites. We kept some back, and that was to try and cope with any hatching that we might have had regarding the mites. She's very calm. Look at that. She's lovely. See, that just touched her tail. Every part of a centipede is sensitive. Now you can see very clearly there her spherical openings, which is how she breathes. You can see that on the third leg back. If you look above the leg, you'll see there's a tiny little opening there. Then you go miss a segment, the next segment you can see there's another spherical opening there. These are basically where she breathes from. Now there'll be trachea that will run behind them spherical openings, and they will go down into her internal organs and into what would to all intents and purposes be her lungs. And that is how they breathe. Amazing system. Now one of the things you will have noticed here as well is there are some tiny black marks. There's a couple on her antennae and there's a couple on her legs. This is mycosis, and this is another thing that centipedes suffer from, and it's normally due to it being a little bit damp in the substrate, and it can flare up and it can cause them quite serious problems. But if it's caught early on, then all we really need to do is dry the substrate out a little, and this will, it will die down and disappear. If caught early enough, it doesn't really cause them any problems. Our main issue at the moment is the mites, so we'll deal with one thing at a time. You can see there's predatory mites climbing around behind her on the plastic sides. So we've still got a few in there, but I think what we'll do, it's been a month now, I think we'll get some fresh mites, and we'll dose her up again. But she is definitely looking 100% better. Right then, I think you'll see from that last little video clip that that's about a month on now in the treatment of that centipede, and I think you'll agree that it's going great guns at the moment. She's putting on plenty of weight, as you saw in the video, and you can see her general colour and condition is really good. So although she still has a couple of mites left on her, we're only looking at half a dozen or so. So I think now what we'll do is, that's pretty much her treatment done really. I think that's been a bit of a raging success. So thumbs up to the predatory mites, they've done their job, and it's a very nice, what should we say, it's a very gentle approach to getting rid of the mites. I'm quite a fan of it at the moment, to be fair. I've not suffered with mites within my arachnids before. I've had them with reptiles, but not in with my spiders and things like that. But I'm very impressed with how they have worked out with this centipede. I think it's absolutely spot on. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a few more of them and just dose her up one more time, and then that will be her clear. But apart from that, I think that was a success. I hope the video was useful. It's not always the nicest of subjects, but it gives you an insight, and it shows you some of the problems that we as keepers face when we're bringing in imported stuff, especially wild caught things. Now on the whole, most wild caught things come in no problems at all, and we're good. But when we do have problems, we need to be prepared. And hopefully, if you come up against this problem, now you'll be prepared and you'll know what to do. So just remember, if you do get it, just isolate your animal, keep it away from your other stuff, get your predatory mites. You can buy them online, and away, yeah, hey presto, away you go. So, all right, I hope that was good. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it was of some use to some of you. And yeah, I think that is it. So without further ado, don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spiders. I'll see you soon.